This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.
The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, says that China has invested a total of $1.3 billion in Nigeria's lithium processing value chain within the last 2 years. Lithium is a key component in the manufacture of batteries and electric vehicles. At the moment, lithium is being mined in Nasarawa, Kogi, Kwara, Ekiti, and Cross River State. It is also found in Oyo, Kaduna, the FCT, as well as Ogun, Bauchi, Niger State, Edo, and Taraba states. Joining the conversation this morning is Ayodele Oni. Mr. Oni has some expertise in the field and has been following the conversation. Mr. Oni, good morning. Thank you for joining us on Our Breakfast.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Right. Mr. Oni, what is your initial reaction to the statement by the federal government regarding China's investment in Nigeria's lithium industry?
Yeah, my understanding is that it's been more around investing in extracting and taking away. If there's any processing, I think it's very limited and limited to places around Nasarawa and Kaduna State.
So, with the knowledge or with the idea that it is mostly about extraction, I should say that would be extraction and exporting. What then would, I guess, investments in Nigeria's lithium processing actually look like for Nigeria if we were saying that we wanted to see something on the ground that represents, I guess, Nigeria's attempts at investing in lithium processing?
Yeah, it means that more jobs are created. It means that more value created in Nigeria, such that you then have battery technology, you have moving the lithium from its raw state to semi-usable or usable form, which is where money should be similar to what we did with our crude until we had a Dangote, who now refines and which is improved the strength of our currency, right? So that's always what you see. If you don't add value, people would come, take it, and then make more money than you would have made. So I think that it's critical that we insist that people do not just invest in being able to take it away, but are processing in country.
Well, Mr. Oni, value addition aside, right, I want to go back to just establishing the importance of this. The mining sector, whatever the mineral you are mining, it hasn't had as much attention or proper attention from the federal government in the last couple of decades or so. And this administration seems to be quite particular about recentering mining as a source of economic diversification. So speak to us about these foreign interests, whether they be Chinese or some other company that's investing in extraction. Speak to us about what that means for Nigeria's position globally, especially with the product lithium and in the context of the global battery race, if you like.
Okay, the battery race, I'll start from the battery race. The battery race is critical because the world is going green and solar is playing a critical role. I recall that solar doesn't store itself. You wouldn't have light when there isn't sunlight, or at night when there isn't sunlight anymore, even if you have it during the day. So it then means that there's need for battery technology. Even for cars, it's electric vehicles, they call them EVs, and it does mean that battery is critical. And one critical element of batteries is lithium. So it's a critical component. Now, people coming to take it means that, particularly if our regime isn't developed enough, they may be getting it for very cheap and may be ahead of the race. Countries like China, we hear China, right? China is doing a lot. For example, CTL is one of the biggest battery manufacturers, lithium batteries manufacturers in the world. And, they're able to then, it's a critical, most important element of cars. And if they get it cheap in Nigeria, it means that their cars will be more competitive. Unlike if they produce in Nigeria and we can encourage our car manufacturers to use same batteries after they process lithium in Nigeria. Unlike if they just take it, then we are taking jobs away from Nigeria we're letting them be more competitive in the EV manufacturing as against Nigeria, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the points. But it's even good that, and you can debate, it's even good that we're beginning to see more traction. Prior to now, what you had was illegal mining. You had small players illegally mining, and even bigger players illegally mining in Nigeria. That's what you had. But more focus is being placed. The only challenge I have is costing now. The fees being charged by the government. I think that increase was too substantial, right? If you want that industry to grow, I think there was a lot of neglect, and suddenly government faced it. And the government is generally doing well when it comes to energy. The only challenge I have is the government seems to want to just more, for me, revenue drive than some of the other things they should ordinarily do.
Right.
Are we trying to make citizens richer while doing a revenue drive? Or it's just substantially just a revenue drive? And that's what I see in my mining sector, and the challenge I think there is in that sector.
So
overall, is that there's focus on it now.
So speaking of, I guess, just the value, really, a cursory research would show that there are a number of countries across the world that have lithium beneath their soil. Australia is one of such countries. Now, in the 2024 to 2025 financial year, the Australian Department of Industry, Science and Resources says that they exported around 6.3 billion US dollars worth of lithium from beneath their soil. At the moment, with the information that the federal government has released, we are doing far below that number. I wonder if this is a case of it being an emerging option for exports in the country, or is this a case of the lithium being undervalued, either because it's in its infancy or because there are higher grades available anywhere else in the world?
Well, I think it's just it goes to the neglect and not properly valuing that segment of the industry, because if you don't adequately value it, you don't price properly. If you don't understand what it is, you don't price properly. And because you have a lot of people illicitly mining it, and what you don't work for, what you don't pay for, what you don't have a regulatory oversight, people do not appreciate it and are able to sell it cheap. That's why we can't compete in terms of income when it comes to other countries like Australia, right? Even though I think Australia has much more than we do, but generally speaking, because people have not paid attention to it and people just legally take it away. If you read Navy reports, you see a lot of that analysis. 80%, I think that their 2023 Navy audit, I think it said like 80% or over 80% of mining activities are informal and unregulated, and the law enforcement people are struggling to track exports due to limited manpower. So it's tracking, is low pricing. If you don't track, you are not able to properly give data, right? You may even well exceed what we think it is in terms of exports, but because it's not through formal channels, So I think those are the challenges beyond those are the challenges I think.
Well, Mr. Oni, I'd like to thank you very much for your time on this conversation today. Ayodele Oni is an individual who, of course, is typically an expert in the oil and gas sector, but he has been following the conversation about lithium mining and processing in Nigeria. And he joined us to speak on the federal government's announcement that over the last 2 years, China has invested $1.3 billion in lithium processing in Nigeria. From this conversation, we can now say that this indicates that China has been extracting and exporting lithium mined within the country. We'll continue to monitor this conversation, of course, and bring you updates as we have them. But we urge you to stay tuned to your Beyond the News station, Radio Now 95.3 FM. In a few short moments, our conversations continue here on Now Breakfast. We're going to be talking security in Nigeria. Do stay with us.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.